ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 154 of the eMTB podcast, presented and hosted by Worldwide Cyclery, Trail One Components, and Kettle Mountain Apparel. I'm Jared.
I'm Liam.
And I'm Trevor.
And in this episode, we are going to discuss a highly anticipated mountain bike drivetrain, a sweet new Yeti, the rebirth of Revel bikes, plus listener questions ranging from what kind of sandwich we would be to dialing in your rear shock and everything in between.
Everything in between.
It's quite the spectrum.
Quite the spectrum.
What do you think about that, Liam?
That's why they call it a spectrum.
Yep.
That's exactly right.
It'll be a little bit on it or a lot of it on it.
Zach's words of wisdom. I'm sorry, Zach. I didn't. You know that was playful. Own your morning. Elevate your life. He told me that he's been thinking about this at night, and it really helps motivate him for the next day.
His words of wisdom were: own your morning, elevate your life.
Yeah. Own your morning, elevate your life, which I like.
Just wake up and get after it.
Wake up, get after it. Kind of goes along with his words of wisdom from last week. The time you don't want to do something is now. Do it.
Yeah.
Zach was just telling me about that today.
Yeah.
And how he changed bottle cages on a bike. And he said that he had a left hand grab bottle cage and it was making him annoyed because he's used to the right hand or whatever. And he was too lazy to do something about it. I'm like, now's your perfect opportunity to do something about it.
That's right.
But
his own words of wisdom.
sometimes you gotta follow your own words. But
Yeah.
the way she goes.
Hey, it's easy to say 'em. It's easy to talk the talk. It's hard to walk the walk.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right. Speaking of which, Silverback Gorilla can lift over 1,763 pounds or 800 kilograms.
So that's Daniel's fun fact.
That's Daniel's fun fact.
I believe it.
So we're kind of talking about Zach. You know, he can lift a lot. Gorilla,
so
pretty similar.
I don't know. So 100 guys versus one gorilla. That would be roughly, what's that? 9? Let's go 9 guys or so.
Yeah.
So a silverback gorilla can lift 9 guys at once.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I'm super scared of silverback gorillas.
Oh yeah,
Scary.
is the one gorilla versus 100 guys? Is that a silverback or is that like?
I think it has to be a silverback.
It's got to be, right?
Yeah.
Like King Kong. You know, like
that's
the
King Kong.
top dog.
Yeah. King Kong, top dog. You got that right.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Where'd that even start?
So I don't know, some Instagram stuff, but
yeah, some Instagram.
Dude, if he can just lift 9 guys,
no problem.
No problem.
Yeah.
He'll take all. I think. What do you think? One guy versus 100 gorillas. Who's winning?
One guy versus 100
I know.
gorillas?
What's 100 gorillas?
The one guy's Goliath from the Bible, maybe, and mythical creature of like Lord of the Rings.
I don't even think 100 guys versus one gorilla, bare hands. Like, I don't know, man. Obviously, once you get weapons into the mix,
it depends what 100 guys.
Yeah, true. Like gladiators.
Yeah, 100 of me is probably not. Probably getting smoked.
Yeah,
he's gonna lift all of you guys. At once.
Yeah, for sure.
Love it. Well, fantastic testimonials. Great shorts. Oh, yeah. This is the Kettle Skidmark. This is a review for the Kettle Skidmark shorts. I thought this one was especially funny. Great shorts. My wife is always complaining about my farts. So these Skidmark shorts are a match made in heaven. In all seriousness, these are great, comfortable riding shorts. I especially enjoy all the pockets with zippers. Well, you know what? That makes 2 of us because my wife also complains about my farts.
Yep.
Trevor and I don't have wives.
Nope. Farting on my own.
Guess I'm alone in that boat. Hopefully other people can relate because I feel like I just poured my heart out on the podcast and just got nothing back from you guys.
I just want to give a little shout out to a listener. I met him on the trails this morning.
Oh, nice.
His name was Jimmy Hart.
What's up, Jimmy?
Came up to me and kind of recognized me and said what's up. He bought a bike from us and is a supporter of Worldwide Cyclery, Trail One, and Kettle, which is super cool. Listens to the podcast and
nice
homie.
He was just pretty stoked on us, and I just wanted to give him a little shout out because he deserves it.
What up, Jimmy? Thanks for listening. We appreciate you, dog.
Nice, Jimmy.
Speaking of riding bikes, Trevor, tell us about that ride. What you just built a new bike, I heard.
Yeah, it was actually the maiden voyage of a new bike I just built. So
Sick.
Just built a new Forbidden Druid.
Nice.
Custom build.
Build.
Yeah, it was I've been riding kind of our demo bike for a little bit the past couple months and really kind of fell in love with that bike. And I was like, all right, it's time to do a bike, build the bike exactly how I want to. So new frame kind of came in, ride wrapped it, got a SRAM drivetrain, SRAM XX T-Type on there. and RockShox components. So I got a Lyric and a Super Deluxe. Lyric set to 160 travel as well. So the rear, if you're not familiar, is 130 travel, and stock comes 150 fork. But yeah, overstroked it to 160, a little more aggressive. I can kind of ride it on everything. Got DT Swiss wheels on there currently, the XM481s, which are the trail wheels. So kind of keeping it in the trail category with that, and got the new or the Michelin Am Wild and Am Force tires on there. So rolling fast, still grippy, just but it's pretty lightweight.
It's 29.29, right?
29.29. Of course, Trail One components, cockpit, stem. Yeah,
of course.
Love that. Got to have that. Can't really ride without it, honestly. And trimmed the bars to 760. Kind of have made up my mind that I'm riding 760 with bars, and it's just what it is, and it's what I'm comfortable on. And so yeah, got that all dialed in. Put Mavens on it. So got the downhill brakes on there with 180 rotors. That was kind of cool.
Nice.
And it was kind of an experiment to see if I could get away with the Mavens on a trail bike with and have like some lighter, smaller post mount or native post mount rotors size. So 180 front and rear. And yeah, that was awesome this morning. And it was ripping. So it was cool. So pretty stoked on that. I'm sure you'll see some pictures on the site soon. So pretty cool.
Epic.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, it's just satisfying to me to not run adapters on bikes.
Very satisfying.
Yeah, that was kind of like my theory a little bit. It's like, let's just keep it straight on there, no adapters. I mean, I don't mind it, but
I don't mind it either.
It's cool.
The new SRAM adapters make it much better with the 4-bolt.
Those are nice.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just satisfying.
Mm-hmm.
No adapters, like just the little things.
Looks clean.
Yeah.
Is clean.
Looks clean. I have no adapters on my frameworks right now. Just 200 post front and rear.
Yeah.
With the Mavens.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that's nice about those 4-bolt adapters, well, the one thing I hate about adapters is when you pull your brake off to like do whatever, and then you have to like finagle the adapter with the bolts and the caliper.
Yeah.
Like that's the most
you have to finesse it a little bit, and you kind of have to have 3 hands sometimes.
You kind of do.
Yeah.
And we only have 2.
We only have 2.
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
that's sweet. New bike day for Trev.
Yep. Pretty stoked on that. It's been kind of a long time coming with that. I'm just waiting on to build up a new custom bike. My last custom bike was the SB140, which I also loved, and it's kind of the same sort of category. Kind of do it all bike, good for home, I could still ride it at the bike park, and I'm excited to put some more miles in that, test some stuff that we get at the shop, and have that be my baby.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, stoked.
Very sick.
What about you guys? What have you guys been riding?
Well, Trevor, it's funny you ask. Speaking of 140s, I've been riding my SB140, and it is decked out in some fancy new parts. The new Shimano XTR Wireless.
Bum, bum, bum.
Bum, bum, bum.
Wireless Shimano?
Wireless Shimano, you said?
Dang.
That's correct. Yeah, it is pretty insane. The brakes as well, new XTR 4-piston brakes. And the 9 to 45 cassette.
Yeah.
Small range.
Short cage derailleur. That's the one that's on my bike. They have 2 different derailleurs for the 2 different wide range cassettes. It's pretty insane. I mean, when did SRAM bring out Axis? Like 2019?
2019.
Gee.
2018? 2019?
So it's kind of interesting, right? Like
it's a long time coming.
And
again, this is Wireless Shimano.
Wireless Shimano XTR.
Boom.
Just say it one more time.
Wireless Shimano XTR.
They're catching up a little bit.
Yeah, they are catching up a little bit. And honestly, it's pretty amazing to ride with.
Yeah.
A unique feature of the shifter is like traditional Shimano XT and above shifters, right? You get the double click if you push in harder, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or like you get the single and then you push farther and you get the double. Like the electronic one's the same, which is pretty cool.
On both, so you can do either paddle you have. They have kind of a front and back paddle. You can single push or like push through it, and you get a double click, and you'll hit 2 gears at once, whether you're going easier or harder, up or down.
And of course, you can map it to whatever to make the button do whatever you want to do, right?
Yeah, and you can hold it, and it just keeps going, which is nice, just like SRAM Axis. Yep. And the shifter or controller or whatever you want to call it is definitely super ergonomic. I found that like it's really easy.
Very adjustable too.
Super adjustable. Like you take a little 3mm and you can change the angle of the little paddles and everything, and definitely, I mean, yeah, just like right out of the box, it's very intuitive.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. I think
I really like the shifter of the new XTR.
Yeah.
I want to say it's probably I don't want to say the best part of it, but the touch point, it's what you actually touch.
Yeah.
It's very good.
It's a very positive feel.
Yeah.
It totally is. It's really nice and positive, and also just like effortless to kind of bang out gears with it. It's like I mean, I've only had it on my bike for a total of 2 rides now, and I just like, without even thinking, you're just kind of grazing the shifter and just like blip blip, just going through, and it's really nice. Like only once or twice did I really kind of have to think about it because it's like brand new on my bike, and you know, after a while everything is really automatic, right? But yeah, kind of like straight away it's super intuitive and really nice. The shifting is obviously amazing. I mean, if you are used to XTR, I'm sure it's pretty comparable. Like I was telling these guys, I don't think it's like quite at the same level as like a, transmission, like equivalent XX in terms of like the buttery smooth, like shifting under full load, like it just ticks the gear off, Yeah.
Like, I mean, the Hyperglide Plus is pretty good.
It is pretty good.
Yeah. T-Type is insane.
Yeah.
So hard to beat that.
It runs on a standard derailleur hanger.
Right.
So if you compared this to previous Axis,
right.
Do you think this is better, quieter?
I think it's a little better. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. I would say it's better than, that's a good point. It is. I would say it is better than previous Axis.
Like, yeah, I would say, I'm not sure I would upgrade from Axis to this unless you're just like a diehard Shimano fanboy. Like I've been waiting for this and I would need to have it. But if you maybe have mechanical, then like definitely, right? Like,
they make an upgrade kit.
Yes.
So you can buy the controller, the derailleur with batteries. I don't know the exact retail price off the top of my head. I want to say it's under 1,000 or about 1,000.
I think it's about 1,000, yeah.
And yeah, that's if you already have Shimano on your bike, that's a great upgrade to go wireless. They did make a new cassette and chain. It's a little bit more optimized, but it's backwards compatible for any 12-speed Shimano.
Yeah, I think if you especially have like an e-bike and you don't want to have a cable routed through the motor, routed through the 100%. Battery, routed through a headset, whatever it is, if your e-bike previously came with XT, like maybe a more budget-friendly build, then you can slap on new wireless XTR Di2
for sure
and have wireless. And it'll be awesome, And you don't have to get the new cassette and chainring and all the stuff. You can just slap on shifter and derailleur and be good to go.
For sure. I mean, there's definitely a few crowds of people who are going to love this, right? Like people who have bikes that don't have UDH and they want that incredible shifting. And then also I thought about this as well, which we kind of talked about with the Shimano guys, the kind of gravel crowd. Like I feel like that 9-45 cassette with that derailleur is like ideal for a gravel bike, right?
Yep. Yeah, you can mix and match stuff. So that, all that's really cool.
Yeah. And yeah, people who...
And the new brakes seem cool.
Yeah, the new brakes are pretty cool.
I think XTRs are, in my opinion, when they're bled well and set up perfectly, are like some of the best brakes in the market. Yeah. They really just feel, the lever feels like awesome, and there's tons of power to be had.
Yeah.
And with the new lever and new caliper too, they kind of angled the levers up a little bit. They're at a different degree angle.
They call them upsweep.
Upsweep.
Yep.
And so it's, I don't know how you feel about that, Jared, because Jared actually rode them now, but it's a little bit more intuitive to brake, or it kind of follows the angle of your finger a little bit. So it's kind of a cool little project they did with Shimano.
Cool. When you think about it, you have your hand on the bar, your finger out, and you pull your finger in, it's coming back towards your hand.
Yeah.
So it is, a normal lever pulls straight back to the bar, but your finger doesn't really follow that curve. So it does make sense.
It does make sense. Yeah. Definitely takes a little while to get used to. I mean, especially just the on-off feel of the brakes coming from, Mavens and Maguras. Even they just inherently have more modulation, right? But once I kind of got the hang of them and like the lever feel and like just kind of feathering them, just kind of like hopping on any new brake, right? Like
feels weird at first.
Yeah, it totally feels weird at first. And there's also no traction out there right now. So that does not help.
There's no traction out there. Speaking of new.
Yeah.
I was just out today. I've been riding on it, but I was out today before this riding on the new Yeti MTE e-bike.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Tell us about
new
that.
Yeti e-bike.
MTE.
MTE is the model name. It has the new TQ HP R60 motor, 60 Newton meters, and the model I've been riding has a 580 watt hour battery. So it is a SL or a lightweight or a half-powered e-bike, whatever your category that at. But yeah, it's sweet. I think, what was our bike? Like 43 pounds?
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty light. I think it might have even been lighter than that, honestly.
Yeah, it's cool. It's 145 rear travel, 160 front with a new 36 on there. It rides like a trail bike.
Nice.
Yeah. I think this is definitely catering to the guys that maybe still want a little bit of assist, but really want the trail bike feel of a normal analog bike. And I think previously SL bikes were pretty close to that, but it was still like, oh, I'm riding an e-bike. I think this new one, since it's so light and has that little bit of extra power now, it follows more closely to riding like a normal analog bike.
Yeah, and the power delivery feels good on it, and it runs on the same Sixfinity platform that the 160E does from Yeti.
Quiet motor.
Pretty quiet motor, yep. Nice screen, digital screen on the top tube.
Nice.
It's pretty killer.
What do you how do you feel like the motor is on downhills, like with rocky stuff?
I couldn't really hear it. It wasn't apparent.
Nice. That's good.
Yeah.
But it probably gives you that little extra weight to kind of be stuck to the ground.
Does,
like e-bikes can be really beneficial for that. Sometimes the full powers are a little heavy and sometimes it can be a little lethargic. But I think with this half power, it gives you a little bit extra weight kind of in your bottom bracket. Kind of like how these downhill guys are putting weight on the lower end of their frame.
For sure.
And it just kind of makes the bike turn better, keeps it stuck on the ground. The suspension can be a little bit more active.
Yeah.
Especially with how Yeti has their Sixfinity system with the e-bikes. It really performs excellent.
Yeah.
And you can tune the anti-squat and the anti-rise for e-bike forces, And so it's not just slapping a motor on a normal bike and just calling it a day. They've really done their homework on it, and
for sure.
I can assume it rides super well for that.
I've always thought that the Sixfinity e-bikes from Yeti ride extremely well.
Yeah.
There's just been whether you like it or you don't, it had a Shimano motor on the 160E. And now with this motor and the SL platform, it's pretty sweet. And it's also mullet compatible, where the 160E was not. So I think that's a big difference. I think e-bikes are amazing with mullets. They just corner so well. They just can back in that rear end and lean the bike over. So I've not ridden it in a mullet, but we do have mullet wheels I can slap on it and try.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. So
yeah,
new Yeti e-bike.
I always thought the 160 was one of the best descending e-bikes, right up there with Crestline and I don't know, probably those two.
Those are the top two I've ridden.
Those are the top two in my book.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick. Yeah. Looking forward to getting more miles on that and checking that out. It's a golden era of e-bikes. I feel like they're constantly coming out.
Left and right.
Yeah, things are getting very, very specific, and this is definitely catered towards a specific customer. But I think if you are that customer, you're going to be pretty stoked on this thing.
Yeah, totally.
Today I rode with full powereds. We just did a little, basically lunch ride, afternoon ride. I rode almost 12 miles, 1,200 feet of climbing. I used 25% of this battery.
Yeah, it's pretty.
And I was in full power almost the whole time.
It's pretty impressive.
So, it goes.
There's also availability for a range extender on this too. So if you put a range extender and had a bottle in or a Camelback on, and you could go for a pretty big ride.
You can do a pretty big ride,
pretty big backcountry ride, and still feel like you're on a normal bike, which is pretty sweet.
And I would be fit enough to ride this bike and keep up with full powereds most of the time.
Yeah,
really,
for the most part. Yeah, there's times where they're gonna pull me, but
the torque's not that far off.
No, I just work harder.
Yeah. It's just the range that'll really get you at some point.
But even then, the range is 580 watt hour, where...
That's actually pretty good.
The DJI small motor or even the Santa Cruz only comes with a 600. All the new Santa Cruzes come with 600. They don't come with bigger batteries. So it's the same watt hour. You're just going a touch slower. And then you run the extender on there. You're going just as far as those full power bikes.
Yeah.
And big range bikes, you're just a touch slower on the watts. But
even the opposite end of the spectrum, let's say you're a guy who has a bunch of buddies who are fit or riding normal bikes and they're stoked on it or whatever, and for life gets in the way, you're not fit, you got a kid or whatever, out of shape, and you can't hang with your buddies but you still want to ride with them or get a lap in after work or something like that. This is kind of I think a perfect bike for that kind of scenario. You can still hang with the boys or the
Totally.
girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what this means for the future of the 160E.
Well, it's still in the line. It's still current.
It is.
They're not changing it as of now.
Yeah.
So,
interesting.
yeah, still rolling.
Interesting. Well, I guess we'll have to see. And speaking of still rolling,
or
Revel
back
Bikes
rolling.
is back.
Revel is back.
Back in action.
Back again. Guess who's back?
Our good friend, Adam Miller.
Yeah.
He has reacquired the brand from the bank, I guess.
The bank, yeah.
And tell us a little bit about Liam. You talked to him today, right?
Yeah, I talked to him today. It would have gone live like a week ago at this point. So kind of the classic story that's been happening in the bike industry. You know, private equity's interested. It seems good. They want to invest. It's great for capital. Making bikes, running a bike company is heavily capital intensive. You need a lot of money to buy bikes. You don't make it back right away. So it's like this kind of put all your money in, wait to sell bikes to get it all back. So when someone comes in and goes, hey, I'll give you a bunch of money for a piece of your company, it sounds great at the time. Well, private equity wants to make money back really fast. They want to grow. They want to scale. And that's just not really what the bike industry is.
Yeah. Scaling is so tough with that too.
It's hard. Yeah. So these guys, you know, COVID boom, numbers look amazing, you know, off the chart. They invest a bunch. COVID bust, they're not seeing the return they want. They're not seeing, you know, money come back. Oh, we need more money to put stuff in. They're not stoked on that. That's not where these guys are at. These guys are business guys.
It's
cutthroat business guys. So they weren't seeing that. They stopped doing it. The bank took control. Adam's baby that he created was basically no longer. So Adam was like, well, I don't want this to happen. Adam stepped up. He reacquired the brand from the bank, and now Adam's the sole owner again. And he's just going to run it like a small boutique brand, kind of where his heart was at when he started it.
Kind of back to its roots.
Yeah, back to its roots for sure.
Super cool.
Super cool.
So it's great news for Revel that they're not going anywhere. We're lucky that he wants to work closely with us. So we will still be carrying Revel bikes. And yeah, it'll be awesome. They still have 2 brand new models, the Rerun and the Ritual, that they currently are taking orders on. The Ritual, I believe, is available now. The Rerun will be available in July.
Sweet.
So current bikes, brand new, modern, up to date. And then they still have the Rascal SL and some Rangers as well.
Nice.
That are rolling through. So
it's kind of a wild turn of events. Like Seattle just happened, and they released these new bikes. Everyone's pretty stoked on it, and it's like this kind of buzzes in the air about Revel, and then it's like, oh, they're shutting down. Dang.
Totally.
I know a lot of our customers were kind of confused and
bummed.
Like I think like we saw like the comments on Pink Bike, you know, like people love CBF. The customer I met this morning, Jimmy, he was on a Rail 29 and he loves CBF and he loves the way it pedals, and it's like perfect for everyday trails, you know, and pedals so well. And yeah, it's a bummer to see that go at first, you know.
Yeah.
People are like have a little bit of an attachment, which is super cool to see from a little boutique brand like that, you know. So it's cool to see that coming back more into its roots.
Right. I think this is the part of the story we all kind of wanted to see happen, right? Like we all knew that Revel's just going to like cease to exist, and like we all knew something was going to happen, and I think we all wanted Adam to get back in the fold. Obviously, some people are joking around that Jeff was going to buy it. Like, I don't know. That's a move of the heart and not the brain, right there.
I had a lot of people tell me that Jeff should buy it back, or Jeff should buy it.
No, he did. Yeah. Or a lot of people said that. They were like, "No, I don't think Jeff's too keen on buying a bike company right now."
No.
But it is
luckily
awesome.
Adam and Jeff are friends.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I spend a lot of time with Adam, so yeah, it's awesome to see it in the hands of the original owner. We'll still work closely with them. We'll still carry them. And
it kind of makes you feel good a little bit, you know. It's like
it's the warm fuzzy ending to the story we wanted, you know.
Exactly.
So
sweet.
They're back. Check them out. Give them some love. They'll be stoked. And they're just gonna be running it with a small crew, kind of some OG people that were there, and keep pumping out bikes. So
awesome.
Yeah, it's super cool.
We love to hear it. You know what else we love to hear? Listener questions. What do you guys say we get one of these in before a little ad break?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. If you woke up tomorrow and you were legally classified as a sandwich, what kind of sandwich would you be?
Peanut butter and jelly.
Oh.
Dang, I was gonna say that.
Were you?
Because it's just elite.
It's the OG. It's elite. Like my Downeyville peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, smack.
Dude.
Oh, they're so good.
Wow.
with like real peanut butter, real jelly, some good bread.
Yeah.
Like we're not talking like
not Skippy and Smuckers.
We're not talking like an
Nah.
unhealthy PB&J. We're talking about fuel here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I go to Winco. I get the honey roasted peanuts grounded into fresh grounded.
Just real peanut butter.
Oh yeah,
you know?
dude.
What are you talking about? You get fresh peanut butter? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
It's
Where?
it's next level.
It's the next level. You got to go Downeyville to get it, dude.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Oh,
I don't. It's not.
what?
You can get it in Ventura. There's a Winco, but
it's like gourmet.
I go out of my way to get tubs of this for
way.
Downeyville week because, like, if you come back from a hot ride and a PB&J, a sparkling water, and a river dip, it's just like childhood, but also like
life.
It
just brings you. It gives you
so
energy.
Good. So that would be my choice. My Downeyville PB&J.
That sounds pretty
I was going to say that just also because, like, let's say you don't have food at home or something and you need to just have something real quick.
Yeah.
You can have that before a bike ride.
Yeah.
Perfect pre-bike ride
On
meal.
the bike ride?
On the bike ride.
After?
Post-bike ride.
Wow.
All that stuff. But I'm going to change my answer because, that's Liam's answer now. But
You're allowed to have it.
Yeah, it's okay. My next favorite sandwich would be like some sort of like chicken pesto caprese kind of sandwich.
Big pesto guy.
At first, that's kind of where my head was going. Like those Mendo sandwiches we had after that ride.
Like
that was bomb.
We were also like super hungry.
I love Mendo. The not so fried chicken sandwich is
that's
one of
what
my
I had. It
favorites.
was so bomb.
Turns out one of the
so
best
good.
parts about going on a big bike ride is eating whatever you want
It's
afterwards.
just eating
It's so good.
100%.
All right, Jared, you're the food guy here.
You
though.
are the food
Okay,
guy.
so
I'm curious about your answer.
I wasn't even thinking about the not so fried chicken sandwich until just now because that's definitely a contender. But my initial
chicken tender.
At Mendocino.
My initial knee-jerk reaction was meatball sub because that
very Italian.
That is a very elite sandwich.
Like from where though? Not Subway meatball soup.
No,
it's
got to be from like a proper Italian deli.
Yeah. Olive Garden.
What? They even have a meatball sub?
Doubtfully.
Dude, Jared's about to throw you out.
Like, oh, Trevor,
his Italian roots are crawling right now.
Telling people to go to Olive Garden when they're Italian.
Italia Deli probably has a really good one.
Just a little mom and pop shop.
Yeah. Or I would also do just like a classic Italian sub. You know, all the good cold cuts. The mortadella, the capicola.
There you go.
Yeah. The gabagool. You know what I'm saying?
Sounds good.
I don't know. I'm a sandwich fiend. Anytime.
Jared does bring like fresh sandwiches to work
almost every day.
Yeah. He just has sandwich supplies on his desk.
I do.
Ready to go.
I do indeed. It's well known as well.
Sometimes I snake a piece of sourdough from him. I'm like, yo, can I get one?
Yeah, anytime, man. I'm the bread boy. Well, I guess we'll throw in an ad real quick. What do you guys think about that?
Here's a word from our sponsor.
And now, a word from our sponsor. Do you love riding mountain bikes, but you could never figure out what trail to ride? I mean, what a conundrum. Introducing Trail GPT. Our proprietary algorithm will automatically select trails for you based on your input radius and what trails you prefer. So worry no longer. Download our state-of-the-art app right now. And now, back to the show. Listener questions.
I can read this one.
Go for it, Trev.
Hey guys, I have a 2018 Rocky Mountain Instinct Carbon 70. It's been modified a good bit over the years and has served me well. My question is, I put a Cane Creek DB coil, it's a 210 by 55, with the progressive rate spring, 55 millimeters. So it's a 500 to 610 pound spring in May of 2021. It's been a game changer over the OEM Fox Float DPS Evol Performance Elite, which is an air shock. Today, I'm feeling like it's not quite providing the level of support and response that it used to. Think I'm up a few pounds versus then around 213. Should I replace the spring with a heavier weight, and should I go with progressive rate or linear? Well, let's see. So, I mean, yeah, if you've gained a few pounds, I would go up a spring rate for
Yeah.
sure.
And if you already have the progressive and you liked how it felt, I would just stick with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also like worth trying one of those spring dex coils.
Yeah,
Those
did you ride with one of those for a while?
Not a bad idea. I've seen people who are like racing use those just so they can fine tune the spring rate by 25 to 50 pounds.
Yeah,
something like that.
Like a 40 or 50 pound range.
So you can really fine tune stuff because otherwise you're kind of stuck with what you got. Try to one size up spring, or add some compression, or the opposite, go up a spring rate and take out some compression. See how it goes.
Yeah, I mean that's always the kind of the puzzle with a coil, right? Is like sometimes you're in between rates. That's like where like, Spring Dex is kind of nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've never tried a progressive spring. Have either of you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I haven't. No, I don't think so.
It's not like extremely noticeable, but it just helps a little bit at the end of a coil ramp.
Yeah, because that's the one issue with coils is, there's a ton of traction and it's super supple off the top, but sometimes you can really like bottom it out hard, like not even on purpose.
Yeah, quite.
And
linear.
sometimes there's not much support, like he's saying, and the air shock gives you so much support. Like you have a platform to kind of push off of. The coil just wants to go through that really easily, or more easy, I should say. And it's just a different style of riding, I would say. Like, just depends on what you're looking for. If you need something like super supple or it's super rocky terrain or whatever, or a lot of downhill, then be good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Facts. Well, there you go. Hey, y'all. I'm Callan Kitchen and 16 years old. I live in Texas. I'm a downhill biker. I do almost all of my riding at Spider Mountain Bike Park. Question: what is y'all's take on building a bike versus buying a bike? I bought a used bike that was built, but I would like to build my own, and it's very costly. So what do y'all think? Also, absolutely love the podcast. Listen almost every day. I've learned so much from y'all. Thanks. Well, if the bike, I mean, there's no replacement for like customizing the bike how you want it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can get a off-the-shelf bike that is super good for a lot of things, but nothing really like replaces that, fully like tailored built bike. Every little part is what you like. That's your preference, right?
Yeah. But Homeboy's 16.
That's true.
And
probably doesn't have enough money to custom build a bike.
So I think nowadays bikes are so well spec'd stock.
True.
It's hard to, not many bikes. I mean, yeah, he said he bought a used bike. I don't know if he's buying another used bike or going into a new one, but like a Forbidden right now, like a stock Druid build with like GXT type is literally perfect.
Yeah. So, I mean, for that example, that's exactly the bike I had been riding the past couple months, is a GXT type Forbidden Druid. And I just changed the wheels and tires on it. That was it, just because I didn't want to use the stock ones. And it was super good.
It was perfect.
I literally had no complaints. I built this new one a little bit different just to kind of make it different. But how much better is it actually?
Yeah.
Marginal.
But it's not that much different.
It's not that much different.
Like if you were to buy the XX build of it.
Yeah. Pretty similar.
Be pretty similar.
Pretty similar.
Yeah.
For sure. So yeah, I agree. Stock bikes are really good nowadays.
Yeah.
I think it'd be better for you to buy a stock bike and just change one or two things than to build it up custom if you don't have much money to spend.
Yeah.
Because no matter what, if you buy every single part individually, it's going to be expensive.
Yep.
Yeah. Unless you're like hounding the big bike buy sell for, used stuff or cheap stuff.
Yeah, which you could also do. It'll take more time and effort, but
for sure.
Shout out to Callan. You're also 16 and you probably just need some time to figure out what you like too, what's good and what's bad. And that just takes going through a couple bikes to figure all that stuff out, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, to your point as well, I don't know if it's just Forbidden, but the Druid I had, I don't think I changed anything on it. Yeah. It was a EXO transmission build with codes and those Crank Brothers synthesis carbon wheels, and
that build was awesome.
It was pretty dialed. One up dropper.
Like they even come with 165 cranks, which is what I run. You know what I mean? Like I put a trail and cockpit on it because it's me, but like I could run the stock barn stem, no problem. It's the correct length, correct rise. I'd cut it down to my width and throw Hell's Gate grips on because I don't like to ride without those, but everything else is perfect. Like throw your grips and pedals on and go ride.
Yeah.
So not every bike is that perfect. Especially if you're buying a bike, like, I don't know, let's say you're buying a ASR or an Epic Evo, and you're looking to kind of do a slightly more like trail build, then you're going to have to customize stuff, right? Because you're not buying the bike for its intended purpose.
Yeah.
But if you're buying like a trail bike these days up to like an enduro bike.
He's also a downhill biker.
That's true.
True.
And downhill bikes, like GX level downhill bikes, are awesome.
Don't need to change it.
You don't need to change anything.
Yeah. That's true.
Like, it probably comes appropriately spec'd.
Yeah. I don't know if you ride a downhill bike at Spider Mountain. I think you still ride like a
maybe
beefy single.
I think that would be a cool place to do a trip.
Yeah.
Spider Mountain. I've heard cool things about it. It's like,
yeah, it's outside Austin, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen some videos on it and seen people do some races there, and it looks like super fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's really sick. Well, there you go. I guess buy that pre-built bike, customize it the way you like, and you will almost certainly save some dough. All right. Guys, this is a pretty heavy-hitting question. If you could instantly become fluent in the language of any animal, but only one, which animal would you choose, and what would you ask them first? That second part of the question is the hard part.
They're both tough.
They are both tough. Liam?
I don't even know if I have an answer for this right now.
Is it dog?
I'd probably say dog.
Yeah.
And I'd probably say, why are you whining? I'd probably be a dog, Maggie.
Yeah.
And why are you bummed? Why are you whining? You're spoiled.
What's the deal?
What's the deal, Maggie?
But then you have to be, if you're fluent in the language of the animal, then you have to just like bark all the time.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of the question. I think that would be super annoying.
Do you think?
But just because you're fluent doesn't mean you have to speak it all the time.
You could be fluent. Like
You
can be barklingual.
Yeah.
Barklingual. That's nice.
Yeah. Do you think dogs are smarter than us?
I think that dogs are smarter than us. Like
Maggie knows a handful of English words
with social
and
cues.
I know 0 bark words.
Right? Like body language, I think dogs are.
That's funny.
That is true, Liam. I think that dogs and animals in general are pretty good about reading your body language and vibes you're giving off.
Dogs also don't worry about human problems.
Yeah.
They're just simple. You know?
Yeah. That would probably be my choice because I'm just always like, what? Why? You're spoiled. What do you need?
Yeah, you don't need anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably be like, just for the fluent and the language part, I'd probably be like a bird or something like that. A little bird chirping on a nice day.
Interesting choice.
Something like that.
Interesting choice, Trevor. Are there any birds out there you're looking to chat with?
I don't know.
Yeah, what kind of
I'm not birdlingual.
Are bird species, can they understand other bird species? Can a cockatiel understand a robin?
That's a great question, Liam.
They're definitely talking to each other. But I don't know if they can understand what they're saying.
We'll have to
but there's definitely a call and response kind of deal going on.
Maybe a bird specialist will tune into the podcast and email us and let us know about that.
Yeah.
Different bird species are communicating.
What's your answer, Jared?
I think it's well known that it would be cat. And the first thing I would ask is, are you happy? That's a little deep for the podcast, I know. But I always wondered.
Sometimes cats don't really, they're kind of a little bit emotionless.
Are cats ever happy?
That's a good question, too. I mean, I could tell when she's happy, right? I mean, overall general feeling,
you can tell when she's happier.
I can tell when she's happier, but I'm like, are you getting fulfilled?
Like, let's say you come home from a long trip, you know the dog's happy to see you. You don't know if the cat's happy to see you.
Bean, though, for sure, we can tell. She's like, she wraps her tail around your leg and stuff. I'm like, she's like rubbing up on you and stuff.
I'm sure Bean's stoked.
Bean's stoked,
happy.
For sure. She is very affectionate. It's funny. Not all cats are affectionate, but she is. But yeah, that's what I would do. And I'd say, is your life fulfilled?
Can we do more?
What can I do?
No, I want to go outside.
What can I do for you?
Yeah, where's the mice?
I want to go
take her outside
sure.
sometimes, but not like an outdoor cat. Like, it's highly supervised.
She
loves the van.
There's a lot of coyotes in our zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, why don't you read the next question, Liam?
Yeah, okay. I'm looking for tips on ways to reduce pedal strikes. I ride flat pedals with mountain bike specific shoes, and I tend to pedal strike more often when I'm riding my full suspension, 130 front and rear, versus my single speed hardtail. BB on full suspension is higher, versus hardtail. He lists a bunch of numbers. Yep, that's typically the case. Your BB on your full suspension will be higher because then you have sag.
Mm-hmm.
I recently changed crank length from 175 to 165. Frames are XL. Tends to occur most frequently on technical sections with rocks and roots. What would you think riding technique is similar? Oh, would like to think riding technique is similar. Any tips or suggestions? It's just kind of the nature of the full suspension versus hardtail. Like you are bobbing up and down. Like, yeah, even though you're at sag correctly and BB's higher to start with, like you're not sitting at 25% sag the entire climb. Like you hit a little G out and you're going to be at like 40, 45%. Like I tag pedal pretty often on climbs on my frameworks.
Yeah, like the cranks are going to be lower to the ground if you sag lower.
Yeah, like I tag pedal or cranks almost every time I climb my frameworks.
Yeah, same with my 165.
Yeah.
When you go to time it, like, you have to be constantly thinking about it, right?
Yeah, where like the hardtail is going to be a little higher. You don't have sag. It starts lower, but technically it doesn't get as low.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think riding style can help a little bit too, and like really be kind of methodical about it. Also, some places where I guess he's saying roots and rocks, but if some places where you ride, it's going to be, you're going to hit pedal and crank no matter what. Like let's say you're riding in Phoenix.
Oh yeah.
You know, like you're doing these technical kind of trials maneuvers.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to hit your chainring, you're going to hit your cranks, you're going to hit your pedals, and they're going to get scratched up just as the nature of the beast. But sometimes you can time it a little bit better with where your crank arm is going down and maybe miss it a little bit, but it's hard to be perfect on that.
Yeah. Maybe lean the bike a little bit in the, corresponding direction. Like when you're cranking, like if you are about to hit a rock.
I think the smaller cranks are a simple solution though.
Yeah.
And he's like, looks like he's already gone to it. Like you could maybe even go to 160. It would help a little bit. Yeah, but
he's 6'7", so
6'7" though. Yeah, that's a big boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think smaller cranks, riding technique, and I don't know. I mean, if you clip pedal on climbs, it's not really that bad. You don't want to clip pedal going downhill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's where stuff gets dangerous. But like on a climb,
that's kind of nature of the beast. Right?
Yeah, like I'm literally like sometimes I'm stepping on my pedal and pedaling over it, and like my rear end lifts up. But I'm trying to make a tech climb. That's just the way where I need to put my pedal and where I need to go that time. So.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you can ratchet back and kind of uninterruptedly get through a climb and not, but sometimes you just are where you are and you can't do that and you're going to just smash your pedal.
Yeah, I think a higher engagement hub could help a little bit maybe. Yeah. You could just for a tech climb, that's so marginal though. So
yeah.
But it does help with tech climbing stuff for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's not really going to help you. Besides ratcheting a little bit, you're still going to have to pedal through at some point. Yeah. So you're still going to pedal through and tag your pedal or your shoe or your crank arm. But
yeah, might buy you a couple seconds to figure out what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Cool. There you go.
No, not too much exact tips, but
those are some tips, I would say.
What's up, Worldwide Crew? Good podcast question for you, or at least I think so.
Maybe.
We'll find out right now. I've had my current bike for about 5 years, and with sag set appropriately, I only use about 80 to 85% of the rear shock travel on a typical ride. I've never bottomed it out. I guess I'm just not that rowdy of a rider. I know it came stock with one volume reducer. Should I take it out? Would it give me a more plush ride or help me utilize more of the travel? Would love to know. Oh, yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not bottoming out, I guess it wouldn't hurt to take it out and see what happens, right? I mean,
yeah, I don't think you should be bottoming out every single ride if you're not like pushing that hard. But,
yeah, right.
But if you do like hit a drop, maybe you should be bottoming out.
Yeah,
and without knowing the bike model and like what progressivity the bike could be, because like evil bikes are quite progressive, right? Little harder to bottom out. Now, if it's like a Specialized and it's pretty linear and you're still not bottoming it, there's either too much volume spacers in the rear shock, like you said, maybe a compression set too hard, high speed, one of those things. You can also try to drop sag a touch as well. But yeah, removing one volume spacer to answer his last bit of the question, take it out it won't necessarily make it more plush, but it will help you utilize the end stroke of the travel a little bit better.
Yeah.
Your initial sag will like dictate the plushness per se of the shock, and then the volume spacer will dictate, the last 30-ish% of your travel. So like he's saying, the last 80 to 85%, removing the volume spacer will get you a little bit closer while still retaining the beginning feeling of the shock.
Yeah. It's worth a try. Can't hurt. It's always worth playing with pressures. And if you're riding pretty consistently, just one change each ride can go a long way in having you figure out if something's going to be good or bad. So yeah, try it. Why not?
Yeah. There you go. Try it. Why not? Nothing to lose.
And try different like sags too,
Yeah.
Make sure it's within the appropriate range of what the bike, whatever bike you're riding, whatever they recommend. But yeah, try different sags and you'll have different characteristics come out of it.
Yeah. Sag is a starting point.
Yeah.
It's not, a exact science, right?
It's not the end all be all.
Yeah.
Of your
Like
suspension setup.
If you're you start at 30% sag, but you're not using it all, then drop a little bit, or you have 30% sag and for the previous guy, you're tagging pedal a lot. Well, you can maybe try 28%.
Yeah.
See if that holds you up a little bit better. So yeah, sag is just the starting recommendation and where you should base your beginning suspension setup from. And then from there, you can range a bit.
Yeah.
I really like on RockShox shocks that they have the kind of sag indicator on there. As you can see, if you're running like 25, 30, 40, 45% sag.
You notice they took that off the forks?
I did, and I'm kind of bummed about it. Yeah, because I really do like to see that. And so, for instance, I'm setting up this new Druid, and Forbidden has a cool chart that they have tested all the shocks on, or tested the shock on, and per your weight, this is what they recommend, and clicks and all that stuff. So I just went exactly to their base setting, and they recommend, I think, is 32 to 35% sag. And so what's cool in the RockShox is you can just look down at your shock, and you can see, oh, I'm right here. Oh, if I have my gear on, I'm a little bit further, Yeah. And with any other brand that doesn't have that, it's kind of hard to tell really what you're running without getting off and measuring it. And it's kind of cool to see that as you're riding.
Yeah, you're just kind of like, that looks like 30%.
Like for example, on the Crestline as a Super Deluxe, or sorry, a Vivid Air, and I thought I was running appropriate sag. Turns out I was running like 40-45% sag.
Oh,
and it felt okay, but then when I went to go ride it, I was blowing through the travel. This bike felt super sagged out, felt super slack, and the bike just didn't work as it was intended to. And I think it's super important to really check to make sure you're running the right air pressure in your shock.
For sure.
Because it really affects how the bike's designed to work a certain way. If you're running too much sag, it's not going to work correctly.
Or not enough.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it is really crazy how 5 PSI in your shock, where a couple PSI in your fork, it just makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I think it's worth it to be a little bit more on the scientific side of that and just kind of get dialed in with your pressures, write them down, record everything, and check sag.
Yeah. Did you go to the bathroom this morning?
Maybe not that scientific.
Right. All right, here we go. First, thanks for what you guys do. The eMTB podcast has kept me sane as I've been off the bike since November due to a crash where I used my leg as a pogo stick after going OTB, resulting in 3 broken bones in my foot and a ruptured ACL. Surgery has been completed and I'm progressing through rehab. I'm listening to the podcast again, and again, you guys piqued my interest in squirt. Since I've got some time to kill, I thought I'd try it. What do you recommend for cleaning and stripping the lube on my chain in preparation for squirt? Thanks in advance. P.S. I was really close to violating my doctor's orders and going after the scavenger hunt in Mission Trails down here in San Diego.
Dang.
Glad you did not do that, but keep an eye out for a future scavenger hunt in the future for kettle.
There will be a 2.0.
There will be a 2.0. There's
probably
going to be
later this
probably many more, but who knows?
Jeff was pretty stoked on it.
Yeah,
Jeff was pretty stoked on it, and we had a great reception, and just, everybody was very stoked in the community about that. And I can't believe how fast everybody went out.
Yeah, turns out it's too easy.
Crazy.
Turns out he made it too easy.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are the pros. Strip the chain, just a nice degrease, like make sure it is as clean as possible, and then put the squirt on. And
I use anything. I typically just keep it pretty basic. Dawn dish soap, throw that in like a chain brush. It takes off pretty much all the grease you're going to want to get off.
Or like so simple green.
Or diluted simple green.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't let the simple green sit on stuff for a while. But if it's diluted and you scrub the chain and then you hose it off after with water, you're good to go. I like to run an air compressor through the chain as well after that process of either of those, just to get all the water completely out of the rollers and bone dry. And then you can really get the squirt in there 2 to 3 coats for the first go after a good clean like that, and let it dry and you're pretty good to go. Squirt will be great for San Diego. Just dry, just like it is here.
Just make sure you let it dry kind of overnight.
Yeah, let the squirt dry.
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing.
Because if you do it before the ride, like sure, your chain's gonna be lube, but it's not how it's intended to work, and you're gonna attract a lot of dirt.
You're gonna attract dirt, not repel it.
And and when the squirt dries, it's just a wax basically, and it will keep your chain dry and stay good for a while.
Yeah, my chain made zero noise after a good squirt lube, and Trevor and I rode in the wet, in the rain, and crossed 17 water crossings over the last weekend.
Really? Yeah. And still go through all that?
It's great.
Wow.
Besides the sand in it, and that was unavoidable due to riding through creeks.
Yeah.
My chain was like not even bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty impressive.
For me, for cleaning, same thing as Liam said. Sometimes if the I clean a lot of really dirty drivetrains. Our drivetrains never really get that quite that dirty because we just like to take care of them, which is recommended. But I work on bikes that are not worked on too much. And so sometimes I'll use like a bike specific degreaser and like really scrub it and let that sit, and maybe do it 2 or 3 times even, just to really get all that dirt off of there. And then, like Liam said, air compressor through it. I just like to put it in between the 2 pulleys. Mm-hmm. And that way you're not kind of spraying stuff all over your bike. It's kind of just going on the ground, and get that chain super dry. Because if you lube the chain when it's still wet too, it's just going to drip off.
Yeah,
right.
So you kind of want it to soak in there. Like I like to backpedal it like 5 or 6 times and get it all up in the rollers. That's where you want the lube, is up in the rollers.
All up in there.
But yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go. Nothing too much to that one. Here we go. This one has got a little bit more to it.
I can read this one.
Go for it.
I'm still looking into this with TRP. They are slow to reply. A pod question, perhaps. I recently bought a set of TRP Evo downhill brakes with the RS05E rotors for a downhill bike. I believe those are the new TRP rotors. They kind of look like the Galfer shark fins. I got them shop mounted so I wouldn't mess up the bleed, but noticed immediately that the front brake pulls about 1/2 inch to the bite point. It's okay, but it still feels a little bit loose, while the rear pulls 1+ inches away, or 1+ inches to the bite point. Huge bummer. I like near instant bite point. I can get that with even many cheaper brakes, so I'm confused on this huge difference. Took the brakes back to my shop. They rebled the rear. There's no change in the bite point at all, and it's nearly unbearable. This is with the bike control dials fully tightened. This also has nothing to do with the pistons on one side extending further than the others. I already fixed that problem. I'm now $750 deep on brakes and 2 bleeds. All I've heard is how awesome TRP Evo DH is, but these easily feel weak versus the mid-level slates that came on the bike, even with the worst rotors. So confused on how this is possible at the highest price. Any ideas on this, or is it just a return item?
That is a huge bummer.
Well, TRP Evos have like a certain lever pull to them. And if you don't have the pros, they don't have a bite point adjustment. It is what it is.
The Pro's the newest one.
The Pro's the newest one. They do have a bite point. Mm-hmm. And they also have a redesigned lever, so it doesn't feel like it pulls as close to the bar. That was some complaints with some people, is they couldn't get the lever to feel the way they wanted with the old lever shape, and they were going to aftermarket lever blades.
Right.
Like a Freedom Coast.
A lot of people would do that. But I think on this, he's talking just about the old style, not the Pros.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like putting that out there.
Mm-hmm.
For the front, sounds like it pulls correct.
Mm-hmm.
The rear pulls far, which to me says there's something wrong with the brake line, the way that the olive and barb is put in and tightened on, or the bleed. You know, you took it back to the same shop twice. They might be bleeding in the same exact process,
right?
Which is letting air in.
Yeah, or they're just not getting it.
Yeah. So it sounds like the front brake is working how it should, with 1/2 inch to bite point, whatever that means. Because it's wherever you put your lever. but the rear sounds like it needs a bleed. I'd even try to recut the cable, put in a fresh Olive bar, make sure it's seated absolutely correctly, retighten that up to spec, and then give it a solid bleed as well. He said he fixed the pistons extending further than the others, but I think as we've learned with Mavens, piston massage does wonders for bite point and the feel of the brake, which is just extending the pistons out. You can throw 4 mil Allen in there, extend them out, push them back. Do that on your brake. I do it 5 times.
Yeah, and the pistons on the TRPs, they're metal too.
Yeah.
And, don't be afraid to get in there and push them back and push them forward and pump them and get those really moving. That honestly does that's a huge part of that, and it could be what that is. I know he's saying it's nothing to do with the pistons extending on one side, but I think having them be moving freely is super important. And honestly, there's probably a bubble in there.
Yeah.
There's probably a bubble in the caliper somewhere, and you just need to get it out and do a better bleed. I would say also make sure you bleed it with a bleed block, so it's at the right fluid level. That's super important. And make sure, the rotor's in the center of the caliper. And make sure your brake pads are hitting evenly. That stuff will make the brake feel good or bad.
Yep.
Straight up.
Yeah.
And then to get the most power out of them, which you want to do in the brand new, but make sure you properly bed in the brakes with a full, legit process, which makes a huge difference over the power of the brake as well.
Yeah, I had a customer recently. He was complaining to me about his brakes, saying that he would hold them down, but it would be like on and off, on and off, on and off. And I was telling him, I'm like, did you bed your brakes in? He said, no, of course. And so what happened was he hit it a couple times, right? And more brake pad material gets embedded on one part of the rotor, and then the other part's not as embedded in. So it kind of, there's friction, no friction, no friction, and it's going to make your brake feel horrible. So definitely, bedding them in properly is super important.
Yeah. And then last, some brakes, just people don't get along with them, right? Maybe you don't like where the lever sits, the bite point, you like super touchy brakes. I wouldn't say TRPs are necessarily super touchy and tight bite point, like old Shimano Saint those are pretty touchy on offy.
Yeah.
TRPs are like lighter lever, a little bit more pull to it than
I would say a little more pull, and especially with those levers are super long.
Yeah.
And you can get the bite to be a little bit snappier, but where it should be is not a super tight bite at all.
Yeah.
It's pretty much in the middle, I would say.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that's a bummer, right? Like, he just kind of plopped down all this cash on these new brakes thinking they're going to be sick.
Yeah.
And obviously one of the solutions is maybe get one of those upgraded levers, but now you're just kind of throwing money at them, hoping they're going to be what you want them to be. And that you kind of gave them to a shop and they didn't give you back the brakes you wanted. That's kind of a bummer.
I think no matter how expensive your brake is or how good it is, how good people say it is, if your bleed's not good, it's not going to work.
Exactly.
It just is what it is.
And this kind of goes back to Zach's words of wisdom from last week, but it's this is probably one of the least things you want to do working on your bike is puzzle your brakes and
man, it's so frustrating. We've all been through it.
But watching you work on the Mavens and all the tricks to trade that you have, and you're okay, I just need to learn these and do them myself, because otherwise you're just caught in this loop of having somebody else try and fix this for you.
It's worth it,
brutal.
and it's so important to have the best brakes possible on your bike.
Yeah.
It's the best thing you can do.
It's so confidence inspiring.
It is. And knowing every in and out of your brake system is totally worth the pain in the butt it is to do all these things. Oh God, it is so frustrating having an issue and just going down that rabbit hole.
I was just saying today, I'd rather have a slightly underpowered brake that's consistent all the time and I know what it's going to do.
Yeah.
Than a super powerful brake that I'm not sure of where it's going to bite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. On our demo ASR, came stock with level 2 piston brakes.
Oh no.
And it came with a 160 and 180 rotor. And I rode those a couple times and it was scary. And we
did a backcountry ride, riding some pretty proper trail, and Trevor's in the back because of the brakes. Trevor's faster than me.
I couldn't stop, dude.
But Trevor's in the back. She's like, I ain't going in front on these, dude.
No, seriously though.
Like they'd burn up really fast, and there was no bite, and they would get super hot. So I upgraded the rear to a 180, put metallic pads in them. Still not okay. So we got a set of Motive Ultimates, which are the kind of code caliper level lever, and those have been awesome.
Huge difference. I
can shred the bike now.
Are you on metallic pads?
Metallic pads,
180
on the ASR.
Yep.
And I can stop.
Yep.
It's amazing.
And I can relax on the bike, and it just makes the biggest difference. If your brakes suck, do something about it.
Yeah, it's almost like the bike should have come with those brakes. I mean, I know that those brakes weren't out when the ASR came out, but...
If you're riding, I mean, granted, I'm an aggressive rider, but if you're riding just single track or fire road...
We're not really riding the bike for what it's originally intended. We're definitely overbiking it.
You know that being Yeti, like a lot of people are going to be getting this bike doing the same thing that we're doing.
Yeah.
Like you're going to be taking
And to be fair, the bike came out before motives, and now they're spec'd with motives. So
right.
Are they spec'd with motives now?
So, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. Yeah, I mean, yeah. What can you do aside from just get it dialed and know everything about the brakes? And like, I mean, the ASR he almost go down this rabbit hole of like, okay, well now I upgraded the brakes, and like now the tires have to be grippier, and now it has to be like you still have to run the tires that are appropriate for the bike, and that are appropriate for the brakes as well. For sure.
Mm-hmm. That's also, that balance is important.
Balance is important in all aspects of life.
Wow, Jared.
Thanks.
I think we should just end it right there.
I think we could end it right there on those wise words.
Wise words from Jared.
Those wise words. Well, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. We truly do appreciate it. And if you haven't heard, we have a discount code for all you listeners. It's the eMTB Podcast 10. That is eMTB Podcast, the number 10. All one word. And we will see you guys in the next one. Cheerio.
Like, subscribe, tell your friends, neighbors, bike people, non-bike people.
Your dog, your cat.
Oh, dog that can understand us.
Woof, woof.
They understand us.
Yeah.
They just choose not to listen.
Oh, yeah. All right. Love you.
Bye.
Love you.